Let's chat about how to choose an affiliate marketing niche. It's so important to get the right niche. First of all, I highly recommend that the niche you choose is something that you know about, you care about, and that you're gonna want to, you wake up in the morning, you think about it, when your mind wanders, you're kind of sometimes in that niche, you're thinking about things in that niche, you have real questions and curiosities for that niche. Those are the things that will help you stay with that niche long term. Those are also the things when things get hard, you'll naturally be inclined to keep sticking with it instead of quitting, right? So those are very core. You have to be interested and passionate. This has to be your interest. The other part of the puzzle is you have to be able to provide some value, right? Because, okay, you have a website or business you're going to start, okay, it's in some niche, but what value will you provide to the customers, right? Because your business has to provide some value, otherwise why would your customers go there, right? So it can be an interesting blog, it can be more, it can be many things. Like in my case, I created business apps. The business apps help people plan their business. The business apps also have tutorials. So it's kind of like a lot of content, but also tools. But at some point, you have to create something that your customers will want, and it will be some products will be a natural upsell. Like for example, in my apps, they're business apps. Sometimes a natural upsell is for them to create a website. Sometimes a natural upsell is for them to contact an attorney or get business insurance, right? Because they're starting a business. Sometimes a natural upsell is for their business planning services. Sometimes a natural upsell if they're doing a marketing app is like for marketing services. So there's many natural upsells that actually help people. My customers actually need them. So it's intelligent to actually provide those things because it actually makes the experience better for my customers as long as the offering is good. If it's a good offering naturally, then it's a good thing to upsell in an affiliate structure, because then why not make money from it? It would be something it would be something that I would recommend naturally anyway. So those are the things. Also, you want to be in a good market, right? And we can talk about markets for an entire day, but a good market for affiliates is a market that it has not that much competition compared to the opportunity in that market. So if it's not a very saturated market, so that you can actually compete, right? Let's say you want to sell shoes. Well, it's going to be very difficult to compete, because guess what? There's so much money in this that there's too much money in this because it's so saturated. There's so many billion-dollar companies selling shoes that, like, as a small site, you will not be able to do it. Even if you pick a niche within that, like let's say only basketball shoes, still you cannot. What if you pick another niche within basketball shoes? Basketball shoes only for kids. Still, it will be very difficult to compete. So it's like, so you gotta pick a niche that's just right? Like it's not that competitive, but also there's still money in it. If you're doing affiliate marketing, usually affiliate marketing is done by like a single person business. So the thing is that you don't need a lot. You don't need a gigantic market. You just need to make sure that you're going to be able to compete, and there is some natural products you will be able to sell. And you want to take a look at the products that you're going to be able to sell before you start your affiliate site, right? I mean, this is part of it, right? So it's better to plan that ahead than later, because later you may realize that, hey, this is not the best niche because maybe there isn't that much money in it, and you don't want to realize that later. And don't rush to choose a niche. Think through it, think about it, really consider what it is that you want to be doing. And sometimes, let's say you want to do something in careers. Well, that's a gigantic niche again. It's like there's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? So what about in careers, right? Like I recently talked to an entrepreneur, and he wanted to help maybe the first generation Latin immigrants with their careers. Okay, fine. In that, I bet you could compete. but it took us a while of talking to him and figuring out what he wants to be doing in order for us to come to this niche. Because before that it was careers, before that it was, you know, the general, so we had to narrow and try a different few, you know, they weren't right for various reasons, but eventually we got it. And that was, but it was a very personalized decision. It was right for that particular individual. It may not be right for you, so you have to really feel like, where will you be able to compete? Where will you want to compete? Where will you be able to offer insight and knowledge? In what niche you will be comfortable with being the face of that business, right? Sometimes you have to be on a video, right? Like I'm on a video now. Sometimes you have to be comfortable being the face of the business, because if you're not, so many marketing strategies are taken away from you, right? So are you comfortable being the face of this business? There's so many considerations like that, and they all have to have some balance when you're choosing an affiliate marketing niche. So take this decision very carefully also, because this is going to stay with you for the duration of your business. So you've got to get this right and use the suggestions that I mentioned here to think through, does a niche that you're choosing have at least a lot of the components that are needed?